lovely crap baskets. It's time for another episode of Cosmic Crit, and it is I, Ty, here to welcome you once again into the glorious world of sci-fi and wonder. Boy, am I happy that it is time for the next episode. We had a really wonderful time talking with the author of Book 3, Amanda, and we had a wonderful time kind of going over all you guys' questions and recapping the whole podcast. It really made me think about everything that we've been through. I can't believe we haven't died. I'll say that over and over again. And it's just been so much fun. It really has been a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience. I know for me and probably for all of us, I never expected this to be so successful. I never expected so many people to be passionate about and interested in our little gaming session. And I am constantly reminded every week about how cool you guys are and how awesome it is to be a part of this little podcast family and little Crittermander family. We just had some awesome new art that I think showed up on the fan Discord. Please go there and check it out. It was of Alindra and Andis. So a massive shout out to Art Jitsu for that. They look so amazing. I'm so unbelievably jealous of them. We saw them actually right before we went on with the podcast, and we all just kind of stopped and went, oh, wow. This is way cooler than anything we've ever deserved. So thanks again for that. Let's wrap up some quick business and then get on to the episode. Last week, we announced our Cosmic Crittermander Starfinder Society League. We're calling on all the fans, every fan, to come and play Starfinder Society, as well as GMs that want to meet new players. If you want to play Starfinder with the cast and crew and Paizo's organized play setting, hey, just join our fan Discord channel. We talk about it every week. We're going to talk about it again because it is where we are interacting with everybody and having a lot of fun. There is a link in the description of this episode, and talk to the moderator about playing SFS. If you want to GM and run new players and fans of the show through Starfinder Society scenarios, just email us at cosmiccrit@gmail.com for some information about your gaming philosophy and why you want to become a Crittermander captain. Our GMs will earn Starfinder swag and Cosmic Crit merch. Space is limited. Join today. That is all I have for you, so it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to episode 38, Aeon, Nemesis, Evangelion.
Last time on Cosmic Crit.
With Ziravesh vanquished, Remy finally gains some semblance of peace by extracting vengeance for the terror she has wrought on both his family and people. Following a hunch, Remy manages to reunite with a specter from his past.
The crew gets into a boss fight in Skullcap Gorge.
Zero holds Remy hostage with a glorified remote control.
It's just Vera and some nobody? Oh, this is gonna be easy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now we're surrounded by bone troopers.
Get them! All of them.
Oh, so it turns out that nobody was Harvey and Rapender.
So, that's Harvey and Rapender?
Andis is dying, but really, aren't we all?
We made it to level 7.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
It's time to cut some corners in the CIC as we're on the run and gun hunting Cylons in this week's episode of Battlestar Cosmic Crit. Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick, and I'm your GM here, your Galactica Major, and we're here this week to divine which of my 5 friends and so-called players is really a Cylon agent in disguise. Here's a hint. They're all Cylon agents, and I'm going to try and kill all of them. What a twist. To my left, it's Mr. Escalante trying to teach all the high schoolers calculus, but this time, in space, it's Drew playing Nax Izrak. Pronk. To his left, the double-brained, double-agent scientist who gets to have Trisha Helfer as a devil on their shoulder. It's Jabert playing Andis 147.
So say we all, Patrick, so say we all.
Across the digital table, he thinks of himself as an ace pilot like Apollo, but we all know he's a true hot dog. It's Miles playing Ramey.
Good evening.
To his left, smoke him if you got him, because she's about to go Starbuck wild. It's Rebecca playing Alindra Vallis.
Hello.
And finally, to my right, the ultimate form of acting career security means that if you kill his character, he just comes back as a clone or something. It's Tyler playing Edros Varonis.
By your command, Patrick.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Going classic Battlestar,
Wonderful.
Tyler. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Bitty.
That was
Yeah.
Battlestar!
Close enough for government work. I'm really happy to be back here playing some Starfighter with you guys.
Me too.
We had a short break between books 3 and 4. We're ready to start book 4, The Ruined Clouds. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm excited to get out of the packed worlds and into the unknown.
I don't know, Patrick. I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. Do you mind if we wait a week or two?
Yeah.
Let's just have some more Eoxian adventures. All right, there's
Yeah,
3
this was
Elikops.
great.
The Elikops, they're swarming around you.
Oh gosh.
Everyone make 3 fortitude saves.
Oh,
Get out of here.
I was thinking about opening up an Elikoth circus and training them.
Everybody knows that Elikops don't know how to fly. Last time, let's talk about it. We have to handle some business up front in this week's episode. We do every 5 to 6 episodes or so, which is you all got to level 7 at the end of the last episode. And as is tradition, if you survive another level, we go around the table. We hear from each of you just a little taste of what happens to your character at this level, whether you get a feat or some ability or just something that you picked up. And since we so often do not start on his end of the table, how about we check in with our resident Vesk and soldier, the big old tank that is Edros and Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, this was a great level for me.
Ooh.
I was
Last one,
super
not so
happy.
much, but this one.
Yeah, I mean, the last level was a little. I mean, I got some cool. Well, I mean, I did get some cool stuff. The new you made it pretty awesome, but we had a lot of credits to burn, so I was able to do quite a bit in terms of purchases. But level wise, I got a gear boost, which is something I don't get very often.
Mm-hmm.
And the gear boost that I took was I think it's called Plasma Expert, and basically what it means is that if I'm using a plasma weapon and I roll a 19 on the dice, I get to apply burn damage to my target. So even if I don't get a crit, I still get to apply some extra damage. So I thought that was kind of cool. And to go with that, I bought a Plasma Doshko, which I learned that the plasma weapons were actually named after followers of Sarenrae. So I thought that was a cool connection as well.
Yeah, really cool. But it's also pretty neat that, yeah, you don't even have to crit. If you roll a 19, they get the burn damage. Or
Yep, absolutely.
pretty
And you already mentioned me being tanky, and we do get a feat at level 7. So being ultimately boring, I took enhanced resistance again, but I feel like it's been a good running joke about how much Edros hates acid at this point. So I took acid resistance.
Unfortunately, all the acid pools in the AP are already behind you. But
Yeah, I
they're
don't
like-
believe you for a
they're
second.
like next
I don't
time.
believe you.
I'm furiously erasing in my notes. You can't tell right now. It's like, no more acid. Right. So that's Edros. Next, I feel like she is also starting to pop like crazy, probably at level 7. Rebecca, can you tell us what's happening in Solarian land?
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened this level. I got some cool stuff that I bought, but for Solarians, they get a very special ability at level 7, which is Flashing Strikes. And I'm so excited about this because it means that when I do a full attack, instead of taking a -4 to each attack roll, I only take -3. And if I'm flanking and have get 'em, then that basically makes it a +1 to each of those attack rolls. So I'm pretty excited about that.
But guys, Solarians are just garbage. They can't do damage. They're just, oh man, come on.
The internet is wrong. Internet is lying to you. Solarians are awesome.
Really afraid of what's going to be happening. You upgraded your gluon crystal, correct?
Yeah, I got a photon crystal minor.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So a little
it's
bit
pretty
more
sick.
damage.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's 3d6 on each attack roll, right?
I think it's 2d6.
Well, no, but the crystal adds an additional d6.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
you're rolling
Yeah. Yeah,
3d6
I'm
damage.
sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah,
Plus
yeah.
your
2d6
crazy strength.
Strength mod of 5, a BAB of 7. So she's got quite a lot of damage headed your way, Patrick.
Pain time. Mid-pack, we have our mechanic and de facto doctor aboard the Drift Rider, Andis 147. What's new in their world, Jabert?
Oh man, this was sort of as with our other two compatriots here, it was sort of a big level for mechanics. Picked up a brand new ability called Miracle Worker, which is basically I can take a move action to do one of three things. I can add a +2 enhancement bonus to my armor's EAC and KAC, or a +2 enhancement bonus to my weapon's attack and damage rolls, or I can restore number of hit points to a starship based on the base frame increment of the ship, just sort of like just as a move action.
Right.
So it's sort of useful in a lot of ways, but other than that, got a feat, got an upgrade, got
just real quick.
It was fun.
Miracle Worker, it's like a once per day thing right now, right?
Yeah, at this level it's once per day, but as you
it
sort
lasts...
of increase in level, it you get it more times per day. It lasts 1 minute.
Right. So I mean, most fights it would last the majority of the fight, if not the entirety. But it's one of those things that's like you turn it on and you're like hyper clocking your exocortex, like putting you through the paces to get the job done. I like it. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot. I'm really excited to use it.
Cool. And let's see. Let's check in on the magic side of life with Raimi Quindar and Miles.
Yeah, so level 7 isn't on a whole super exciting for the Technomancer.
What are you talking about?
Will you
let me finish my sentence?
Sorry, I was just so offended for a second.
Don't you downplay it at all.
Well, no, I mean, I get 2 level 3 spells, which are super dope.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, as far as like, you know, my stats and stuff, like I did some padding. Like I picked up some armor from some loot we got on Eox, and I had been collecting money because I hadn't spent any since I think Absalom Station thereabouts. So I had like 14,000 credits and bought myself a X-Gen Dance gun that does 2d12 damage. But
going down the heavy weapons route.
Yeah, I took heavy arms proficiency this level.
Ooh, boy.
Since I already had small and long arms. So my spells, Arcing Surge, which deals 10d6 electricity damage in a 120-foot line, which means that no one can be in the way. It fires in a direct line. So, and I believe it fires any line that my square can kind of go in.
Yeah, it's like I think from any corner.
From any corner. But like, say, you know, if someone's tanking, if they're in front of me, they would take the damage if I had cast that.
Get out the way, Adros.
Alongside that, I also took Explosive Blast, which is it fires basically a supercharged battery, and it deals 9d6 fire damage to creatures in a 20-foot radius.
It's funny that you're explaining it so much, and like everyone out there that plays Pathfinder is like, oh, it's Fireball. You just throw a fireball.
Well, I've never played Pathfinder, so
you have, just not as a fun wizard before. So pretty much a nothing level for Technomancers, is that right, Mike?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing going on with the rain. Oh boy, I am shaking and a-quaking in my GM boots. But we're not done yet. Certainly, last but not least, where there's money to be made in the sun or in the shade, you'll find Knackfeldspar. Drew, what happened with our favorite envoy this level?
Yeah, so level 7 on the surface doesn't seem like it's that huge for envoys either. But you get an expertise talent, which the last time we got an expertise talent, I got Cultural Savant, which lets me just take 20 on culture checks, which has come in super handy. But from where we are in the game right now, none of the other like class ability and skill ability expertise talents seemed that interesting for where we are today. So I have instead taken what's called additional expertise, meaning I can just use my expertise die on something early. So I have now have the expertise die on diplomacy as well as the other things that I have it on. So I can, and I have a plus 16 to diplomacy. So I could basically I could roll a 1 and still roll above a 20 for a diplo check, which I'm very, very excited about.
Okay, that's pretty good, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know additional skill expertise was a thing. I thought you were tied into what you already had skill expertise in. When I was looking at that list, I was like, all right, well, since motive and the diplomacy ones are okay, but that probably works a good deal better. Yeah,
and at level 8, I'll get a new envoy improvisation, so my expertise talents, which are based off that, will get a little different at that point. And we had money to spend, so I got some personal upgrades. I bumped my dex, I bumped my charisma, I picked up a new weapon. Yeah, that is about it. But I spent all week worrying about what to pick, so...
Good. As it should be, because we're starting off a new book. This isn't a mid-book level up where you still got options and choices and you have some information. You have no idea where you're heading to right now. So let's just dive right in. How about it? Book 4, Ruined Clouds.
How about it, Patrick?
How about it? So this book does not open on Eox, nor the Drift Rider. Not even in packed space. We open up trillions of miles away from where you all are now. We open in a darkened room on the far side of the galaxy. There we see a young alien boy dressed in simple robes. He steps forward into the light of a small urn's dying fire, begins to add scavenged combustibles to the flames, which leap up in greens and blues, throwing new shadows against the walls. And there we see thousands of etchings and painted symbols that line the inner part of this chamber. Some ancient, others freshly drawn, a mosaic of cave paintings, new and old. The boy moves over to the opposite side of the room and sits at the feet of their master, sitting in a stone chair, dressed in a fine brown vestment, that of an elder of their tribe. She wears a scarf wrapped around her head and rests her eyes closed. Breathing quietly, the youth knows that she is about to tell a tale, to weave a story of the old times. And so they sit and wait for the tale to begin. Finally, the soothsayer opens her eyes. She stares into the oblivion of the flames and says, "We know what we know because of what is told to us by those who came before. As it was related to me, so too must you tell these tales to those who come after you. We know the truth within our souls, and we know the lies within our minds, and in this way our spirit is never corrupted, and we endure. Have I told you the story of our origin, how our people came to be here, and how we remain today? Our race was once glorious. When we were young, the stars were our playground, and we survived by creating metal clouds that flew among the heavens. Many were jealous of how wise and productive our homesteads had become, and they brought war to our doorsteps to take what was our own. The weapons we created were only matched by our ancient enemy, but our spirit was stronger, and so we overcame them in a great battle." The wizened oracle stands from their chair and takes a long plank of wood from the fire. She wields it like a torch and lights a segment of the wall with what looks like a depiction of stars and spaceships. The hands that drew these shapes, long gone, as it was made with an ancient black engraving tool, permanently set into the wall here. "We seized from that foe a weapon even greater than our own. It had too much power, enough that even the wisest of our kind feared it to never be used again. It was called many things, but we have heard it called the Stellar Degenerator. Let me tell you its story." A wind from outside that hall feeds the flames and then threatens to blow them out. Darkness envelops the room again as the youth scans the walls for answers to his many questions. His eyes focus in the dimming flames on a symbol, one that he doesn't know the origins of, but still understands naturally that it is one of great importance. He sees 12 stars arranged in a dodecagon. The fires are extinguished on this scene as the light in Captain's quarters on the Drift Rider flood into Alindra's multicolored eyes. And we're back on the Drift Rider. Rebecca, hey, you had a fitful night's rest, but awakened to find yourself in that kind of like haze where you're struggling to remember of what you had dreamt. How
crazy.
How are you doing?
Confused.
You're welcome.
I think that she probably wakes up. I mean, I suspect that this felt like a very real dream, right? I mean, like a very vivid, like it was real life, like it was really happening.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you may attribute to just being out in space too long. You dreamt of aliens you've never seen before, talking about stuff you have heard of before, obviously, the stellar degenerator, but yeah, you don't know what it means.
Interesting. Can you tell me what the aliens looked like? Can I remember what the aliens looked like?
Make an intelligence check for me.
Oh, that's not my best skill, but
That's why I picked it.
18?
Oh, it's pretty good. Right, so, got general features. They're humanoid, kind of skull-like faces. Maybe reptilian or some kind of definitely non-human looking with a couple of mouth clips, like mandibles. Pretty long, pretty lanky, tall, but like I said, not any race that you've seen before. So your time aboard the Drift Rider in hyperspace of the drift makes it maybe a little difficult to rest as maybe your natural Castrivellian diurnal clock begins to feel the immense darkness of space. How are you enjoying the captain's quarters?
They're lovely until they give me bad dreams.
Do you think Captain Moriko Nash had problems like that? She was the adventurer who bequeathed to you all this ship, and you're sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, it's a good point. I wonder if I should try sleeping somewhere else tomorrow night.
I mean, it's definitely the nicest of the beds. I think you downgraded some of the other rooms as you guys were upgrading other parts of the ship. But
you could always change the linens.
Yeah, at the very least, you should have done that.
I assume that we've done that. Have we not done that?
No, you didn't say you did.
No one
ever
told me they were.
According to commercials, the mattress gains doubles its weight every 8 years. And how old is that mattress now? Just saying.
It's like 100 years old. Thank you for that factoid. Yeah. Now I'm doing math in my head. Like, oh, gross.
Brought to you by Purple.
Have you gotten a chance to redecorate? You did go home to Castrovel since getting the Drift Rider. Did you pull any tchotchkes from your room?
Yeah, actually, I have a beloved scarf that has a print of constellations from the Castrovellian sky that I have draped across my wall. It's sort of college dormy, I guess, but Alindra likes it.
So it's morning time as we start in here on the Drift Rider, and you can hear the others down the hallway. You hear Adross's heavy boots and Nack's voice going on about something. You guys have set a course through a drift space into an uncharted star system in the vast. And really all you've got to go on is a name and a single astronomical point in the star record. No one's ever been there. At least there's zero record you can find of this place having been visited before. This Nejeor.
Sorry, did you say Nejeor?
Nejeor?
Can you spell that for us?
With an N, like as in like necrotic?
Yes. You discovered that more than likely the cult of the Devourer left at the latest like a week ago for this Nejeor system. So starting this week's game, we need first Raimi as our pilot. You need to set a course through the drift to get out there. Now, this is pretty easy piloting check, I think, for you at this point. DC 25. Do you want to go ahead and roll that for me?
Sure.
So what'd you get, Miles?
20.
Right. So you, as you are setting off, escaping the atmosphere, the thin haze around Eox, it takes you some time to put in these coordinates. You just aren't able to find a course through drift space. It might be one of the reasons why no one's ever visited there before. It's a long journey, and it seems off the bat pretty hard to parse through. There's no real drift beacons nearby. It's just like a big empty space in the galaxy. We'll go ahead and roll it for me again.
Okay.
20, yeah, it's not going to do it. Ooh.
36.
Yeah. So you learn from your failure, only wasting about like 10 minutes or so trying to plot a course, get frustrated, and I don't know, maybe kick the computer screen, and it's like, oh, of course. It's going to be a long journey. It's probably the most difficult flight path you've ever charted before through drift space. And yeah, I don't know, if the Cult of the Devourer did get there before you doubt that they were able to plot it as well as you've done right now. It is still going to take some time. So as you set this course in that you've developed, the computer starts doing all the hard maths, and it's going to tell us how long thereabouts the trip will take to get through the drift, down to about a few hours. Traveling this far from Absalom's core is going to take a whopping 5d6 days. So,
Wow.
You know what that means. I need everyone here to roll a single 6-sided dice, and then we'll call them out.
It's time to have a montage.
6.
And Dross has rolled a 4.
A 2.
Knack has rolled a 3.
Raimi has rolled a 4.
Yeah, adding that together, that is just shy of 3 weeks aboard the Drift Rider in drift space. It's 19 days. So, I mean, at the bare minimum, this could have been at least 5 days, but at max, a little bit longer than that. 30 days? So it's a pretty long one. Right. So you set this course, punch in the drift drive, and the ship just slips through into the nether dimension that rests alongside normal space. And inside, you are met with the familiar and still very alien sights of purple and green gas clouds that vary in size from as small as houses zipping past the ship's view screens to some that seem as large as whole solar systems themselves. These clouds are the only points of reference in the blackness of the drift and give you all the impression of flying through the atmosphere, speeding along at thousands of miles per hour. And at other times, it just seems like the space out there isn't moving at all, and you only know that you are indeed moving by the thrum of the ship's engines. Every day or so that passes as you travel, you get warnings on the ship's computer that there are pockets of space or objects that do show up in the flight path. On the second day of travel, it's this giant stone monument's head of a long dead alien race about the size of a small moon. On the 5th day, you fly past what looks like a debris field made of thousands of geodesic stones, an asteroid field of these sharp, worthless rocks that light your passage for a few hours before zipping behind you. So we have some downtime to burn through while you're all traveling. The goblins keep themselves busy in this time in the back of the ship. They, I imagine, have some kind of small box fort where they live in the engine room with like a sign plastered on the front that reads "Goblins Only," and then another sign like stapled below that with a smaller hand writing that says "Andis 147 is okay though." They might try and offer some of you in that time to break up the monotony more fight simulation programs that they cooked up for the hack.
Nope.
And
That's
most of them, you don't want another couple fun episodes. They're almost all the same now because they really liked your performance in the Splatter Dome, so they just like copied that footage. And they're just more and more deadly enemies that they sub in for the liquid carbon golem. So they really want you guys to try them out. They're like really impressed with like the physics engine that they were able to download.
I looked over the goblin's code, and one of them was a monster that only eats Isoki and would go after an Isoki over and over until it was dead. And I just didn't think that was fair. I don't know.
They actually make like 5 of those. they keep being like, "Are you sure you don't want to try this?"
And oddly enough, all the monsters all have the same roar, bork bork.
Oh yeah, that doesn't change. if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a goblin thing.
If it ain't bork, don't go fix it.
Right. So we got some time here. What do you guys want to do?
So Alendra would like to. I'm gonna go down to Andis's bunk and pop my head in, Hey, Andis, is there any chance that you've seen that pirate book lying around? I really need something to do, and Evie doesn't seem to know where it is anymore. I thought maybe you had seen it around.
Andis is lying on their bunk, looking at the only photo of themselves that they own. Andis sort of looks at Alindra distractedly and says, "Oh, yes, I think that's in the airlock. Don't ask me why it's there. Alindra, I have a question.
Sure, what's up?
How well did you know Pasilar?
Oh, Pasilar, it's been a couple weeks since I thought about him. He was my professor, and I studied alongside him for a really long time, but I didn't really know him on a personal level per se, but he taught me everything that I know. I mean, he's a brilliant astrophysicist, so, I mean, we spent a long time together. Why do you ask?
Do you happen to know what his focus of study was?
Well, he and I were on Calithu 7. It was this really distant planet, and we were studying the stars, and I don't really know what he was doing on his own. He was a little reclusive while we were there, but...
Sure. Alindra, come inside. Would you mind shutting the door?
Of course. She shuts the door.
I haven't shown anyone else this, but I've started to consider the things that I don't know about myself, and this is something I think you should see. And Andis turns the photo around to show her the photo of 5 figures, which are labeled Dr. J. Braskin, E. Pasilar, K. Quinn, L. Feldspar, and Andis 146, who is clearly the same body as Andis 147, and says, "This was found by the police during the investigation of the abduction of Master Pasilar, and I kept it simply because it was a curiosity to me. I've never seen a photograph of myself, but the more I look at it, the more I think this is something odd, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a Quinn and there's a Feldspar on this ship, and you happen to be the protege of one Master E. Pasilar."
Wait a minute. That's you, but this has to be a really old photograph. I mean, that's Master Pasilar? He looks so young.
He had all his hair, that's right. He had hair in all the places you wouldn't think he'd have hair.
Yeah,
listeners, you're lucky this is an audio podcast. It's too much hair.
Looking at the photograph, Alindra, you do see it looks like Pasilar at your age right now. So this is like almost 100 years ago.
And wait a second, the caption says that this was the discovery team for Calithu 7. That's where we were. That's where I studied with Pasilar.
Indeed. That's why I'm so curious. What was Calithu 7?
I don't know. I mean, he would send me on these long walks and just to discover things or look at the stars. And I mean, that's where my powers first manifested. That's where I became a Solarian of sorts. I mean, I didn't know what it was, but that's where it happened. I mean, Calithu 7 is kind of a big deal for me for that reason. But why was Pasilar there? Why did he spend this amount of time on this strange planet? What was he looking at? What was he looking for?
That's what I'd like to know as well. Alindra, I'm not sure how much of this we should bring up to the others, but I'll leave it to your decision. If you want to bring Quinn and Feldspar in on this, then that's up to you.
I think that they would like to know. I mean, Knack only just revealed to us that Feldspar was his last name. This is a big deal, right?
I agree.
And same with Raimi. I think we ought to tell them. I mean, I don't know who these people are or how they might be related to them, but surely it can't be a coincidence that we're all together on the same ship and match the people in the photo.
Yes, I agree. This is quite a coincidence. Miles, Drew, do you want to hop in on the scene?
Yeah.
All right, so Raimi runs in chasing Mr. McScruffins. Okay. You're taking your bath now! You're taking your bath now!
Raimi, look at this photo. Read the caption.
And
wait.
Andis hands the photo over.
It has someone whose last name is Quinn.
Yeah, that's my great-grandfather. But what's he doing in this photo?
That's what we'd like to know.
I don't know a whole lot about my great-grandparents, and I mean, clearly there's a lot about my family that I still don't know, but that's you, isn't it?
That's certainly what Pasilar seems to think. Let's get Feldspar in here. And then Andis sort of personal comms over to Knack and says, Feldspar, can you come to my quarters?
Buy, sell. Oh, sorry. I was on another call.
Oh, well. You sound
There's
very-
no reception
you're
out
very
here.
busy.
Yeah,
He was just talking to himself, just shouting in his room. Somewhere the
when
goblins-
I'm a big boy and I've got...
the goblins hang up a phone call in the back of the Drift Rider and they're like, I don't know what he was trying to buy or sell us, but
it's Knack's equivalent of like flexing in the mirror.
Yeah, what's going on, Andis?
Can you come down to my quarters?
And that happens, and they show Andis the photo, or they show Knack the photo, and he makes comments about how he was there, and he was there, and he was there.
and we're all caught up except for Edros, who's in the hack fighting more Splatterdome fights apparently.
Yeah,
Edris, you want to come over here and look at this picture?
Yeah, let's just assume you guys all
for-
can have a conversation about it. Does anybody have any ideas they want to throw out?
Yeah, let me actually do this thing. L. Feldspar. I gotta go into my records which is gonna be tough right now because we don't have much communication range out here. But there's a lot of Feldspars, and I can guarantee you, based on the way that one looks, that he's a member of my family. And back in the day, 100 years ago, we were into a lot of stuff. But none of it was good. So there's got to be some sort of corporate espionage, protection racket, maybe weapons manufacturing. It's tough to say from here, but I can guarantee you, at least from what I can tell, whatever these folks were involved in, it was not good.
That seems to be the case, knowing the connection that Zira Vesh had with my family, and I don't know how long she was controlling them before I was born. So this could very well be, like Knack said, really bad.
The question I have, though, is who is this Jay Braskin? That's the only one that we don't really have an identification for.
Andis, I know that it was a different time for you then, and a different, well, you then. But anything in any fraction of a memory you might have about Jay Braskin, so that we could, while we're out here, do any research possible.
I don't remember. Patrick, can I try to make a intelligence roll to remember anything about that time? I mean, there have been sort of flickers and flashes. Is there anything about the background of the photo that is sort of flickering from any memories in my mind?
Why don't you try a recall information? Just a general, most any intelligence skill that you'd like to roll. We'll see what comes up.
Okay, so I'm going to take the opportunity to use my my memory module to roll twice on this. Let's see, just a straight intelligence roll, you think, or
you can roll a skill.
Okay, I'll pick maybe engineering.
That'd be fine. That's intelligence.
All right, so that'll be a 32.
Right, pretty good. As maybe Andis closes their eyes, everyone else on the Drift Rider, they just kind of leave, and they're in their own mind for a while. And yeah, you just travel inwards, Andis, and it feels like you're having a dream, but it's not the same kind of waking dream you had a few weeks back of this planet and this lightning storm. But you open your eyes again, and you are in a laboratory. You have a number of degrees digitally glowing on a wall behind you. There are workbenches and this long, pristine desk with thousands of mechanical parts kind of arrayed in, very ordered lines and columns. Some so small that they have to be highlighted and enhanced with a floating holographic matrix around them. There's a sound behind you that kind of gives you a start, and you see a human in a white lab coat behind a thick pane of glass. They pantomime an eating motion with their hands and then taps on their wrists. You see a tag on their white lab coat that reads Dr. Braskin, and suddenly you're just overcome with the need to get some nutrition in you to sustain your physical form. So Andis stands from this workbench, and you see in this vision what's there on the table beneath a set of 2 or 3 different microscopes. It's an exocortex, maybe half assembled and spread out over a few cubic feet. You wake up and realize that you've been out for a while. in this waking dream. About 20 minutes pass for everybody else, and Andis is just like unmoving, unspeaking that entire time. But you're back now.
I think I knew him. I don't know who he
Who?
was. Braskin, Dr. Braskin. We were colleagues. I was building an exocortex. We were friends. We shared meals together.
With your engineering check that you rolled to recall this, you're pretty sure if this was a vision of Andis 146, that they were indeed a roboticist. They had a degree in advanced engineering for robotics.
That's right. That's right. I built robots. I designed them.
What are the odds that that exocortex that you saw being built is the one that's currently installed in your head?
I'd say even odds.
Do you guys want to make a bet right now? see what comes up later on in the podcast. Right, so not a ton of other information to go on. Besides that, for a lot of you, this is something you probably never even heard of, like great grandparents, and something that happened to Pasilar 100 years ago. But definitely something now that we're all on board, we can start to think about as we continue on. Does anybody have any questions before we move on?
Yeah, I had one question about the photographs. So having spent so much time on Calathus 7, I wanted to know if Elendroid could recognize the curved rock formations in the background of the photograph, if that was unique to a particular place on the planet, or if it was sort of all over the planet's surface.
From what you remember, it was a pretty formless world. It seems like it would have been completely dead, but there was enough oxygen and nitrogen in this very thin atmosphere to breathe there, at least. At one point, it probably was a alive world, but at least when you visited, and from what it looks like in this photo, it's just a rock.
Okay, so these rock formations that are in the photograph are just sort of the way the planet
Everywhere.
looks. It's not... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can Knack determine any affiliation of any of the people here? Does he notice any corporate logos, military logos, government emblems, anything like that?
For sure, both you and Raimi would be able to determine that if a Quinn was involved. I mean, they were basically on Verces like the Rockefellers. Like, if you're in the family, you're in the business, and if you're a part of the business, you have to be part of the family. So if there was indeed a relative of Raimi's, then somehow that corporation was involved there. So maybe that's why they were there.
Just hoping to get an astral connection.
One day we'll find it.
Okay.
That makes sense. They're the bad guys. Patrick would put them there. All right. So with the mystery well set for books 4, 5, and 6, let's move on. And we heard a good deal about you guys thinking up different ways you could be connected to this photo. But what about Edros? Tyler, how is your character spending 19 days in downtime?
That's a lot of downtime. One of the things I thought that he would probably be spending some time doing is maybe working with Raimi with his new heavy weapon. Edros knows quite a bit about heavy weapons. Raimi he's learning as he's acquired this brand new weapon. So maybe he's showing him how to use the automatic firing mode. Maybe they're going through some shooting practice. I don't know.
What do you program into the hack, the holographic amusement chamber, to come at you in waves?
It's basically just wave after wave of dozens of Robobs.
Just every time one pops up, it's like, hey, how's it going, Raimi?
Yeah, exactly. It's just smile for the camera, Raimi. Look over here, Raimi. Is that a Quinn Dart logo? Yeah, so, teaching him how to brace against the automatic fire and wiping out waves of enemies at a time with this beastly weapon. So I think he would definitely be going through that. I also got a brand new weapon. He got the Plasma Doshko, so I think he would be practicing with that, getting the feel of the new weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things specifically is I think he would kind of maybe have Andis help him put together a makeshift kind of junk target, a physical one, and kind of get the Doshko out and maybe start twirling it around. And as he's with his eyes closed, and as he's just moving it, he tries to tap into some power that he felt when we were fighting Verakesh on Eox, his scales would start to glow, and he'd activate the plasma doshko, and fire and electricity arcs from the blades, from the makeshift blades on the doshko, and just the power of Sarenrae goes through him and into the blade, and he would just strike at this junk dummy, just blowing it to smithereens with plasma and fire, and just feeling that and just kind of being amazed. This is the first time he's been connected to the power. Back when, all the way back on Castrovel, when he pledged himself to Sarenrae, he was just a soldier fighting for Sarenrae, but now he's feeling that come out in these divine abilities, with this divine power. And once he's kind of channeled that, I think he would sit down, close his eyes, and just say, Sarenrae, I still have barely any idea what all this means. I have so many questions about my place, this prophecy that our enemies have spoken of, and what it means to be your champion. I just want to do the right thing. I want to bring the light to wherever our enemies try and create this evil and this darkness. I wish I knew more. I wish I wasn't just stumbling around and figuring out all these things just blindly. Please guide me.
So I don't know how many times you break down in prayer, but just about every time you hear the mechanical hum of the ship's engine, maybe one of your crewmates talking down the hallway, but there's no answer.
And he doesn't understand that. I mean, he's really happy that he feels this connection, but he wants guidance. He's looking for, power without direction is kind of confusing, and it's power he's never had before, so he's really confused. He feels like he should be this divine force of good, but he's never been that before, and he's not sure what to do with it. And I think he would, kind of start this daily prayer. We're just asking for guidance, trying to get a sense of how to exercise Sarenrae's will against, the evil forces we're going against.
All right. From that confusion, is Edros angry, or do you push yourself harder in training because of that?
For sure. I mean, I think every day he keeps enacting the powers, enacting his ability to connect to Sarenrae's power, and but he keeps hoping to get an answer from that, but he's not.
Yeah, every time you try and summon the same thing that happened on Eox, it doesn't feel the same. It feels like you're just using your own power. Like there's not a lot being channeled through you. But
so he would definitely be getting more frustrated and angry because of that, because he just doesn't understand why can't he do it.
So maybe day 10 of your journey, or more than a week into it, you wake up in the morning ready to maybe train Raimi some more, do some more simulations yourself, soar from the previous week's work. As you go to the mirror to grab your scale polish, close your eyes, run the tap, breathing in deeply, the confines of the ship disappear around you, the familiar sounds, the smells. When you open your eyes back up, you're standing on a platform that juts out from this massive tower, and it is perched above a sea of fire, a wall of burning plasma that stretches 1,000,000 miles on the horizon in either direction. You're gone. You're somewhere else. What would you do?
It's just a sea of plasma, just fire and plasma.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I think he would just kind of look around and maybe call out, just Sarenrae, anybody.
You definitely are saying something, but there's no sound here because everything is drowned out by a furnace of billions and billions of degrees burning directly beneath you. But somehow, in that, you still hear someone call out from behind you. And it feels like a familiar voice. It's something that you've heard before, but it seems really far away in your memory, like trying to remember a long-forgotten dream. And this voice calls out your name. When you look back at it, all you see is the back of the washroom, and all you hear is the cold water running from the tap. You're back on the Drift Rider.
Edros kind of slams his fist down on the bathroom sink. He's just, I was so close. What was that? And now he's very frustrated for the rest of the day.
Right. I'm sorry. I did that.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so yeah, the rest of the day goes fairly standard for you, but as you're traveling, Knack, as science officer, part of your duties, even with all this downtime, are to go over these analogous scans that Galara brings to the crew's attention. So you'll pass by heavenly bodies, and Galara, being an AI, will give you readouts regarding them, but kind of reconciling them with what they are, it is a little beyond her processing. It requires a smart brain, a sentient mind. So she brings to your attention about halfway through your journey here something a bit odd, a little irreconcilable with her databanks. As you get to the bridge of the Drift Rider along the port side steel windows of the ship, Knack, you see these massive pink swirling eddies of clouds with a roiling orange thunder alighting between them, just thousands of miles wide, and it's coming up fast along your flight plan. Knack, why don't you go ahead and give me a computer's check, see if you can tell what's happening out there.
So that's a 15. Do I get any support from the Drift Rider's computers on this?
Yeah, she has a good amount of information, but even with you looking at it and the data Galara provides, you really don't know what exactly you're looking at.
Hey, Andis, you're better with computers than I am. Can you take a look at this?
Andis comes on the comm, says, "I'll be right there," and walks up to the bridge.
You normally back in the engine room with the gobs?
Typically, yeah.
Right.
Just kind of taking care of business.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a computer's check?
I will. It's a 31.
Just a little better.
I'm sorry. It's a 29. It's a 29. I'm not hacking right now, so.
Oh, right. But yeah, believe it or not, that's still enough. Yeah, so the readouts are just going crazy when you get up here. It does seem like one of these rare instances of a bit of non-drift space that is just plunked out of reality and dropped here in the middle of nothingness. And examining it, you can tell that it's some sort of section from a plane of existence outside of just regular space. Searching your own memory and maybe looking at the computer readouts, it does seem to be a segment of the plane of air. So it's another plane of existence, beyond normal space, beyond drift space, that was just pulled from that dimension. And yeah, millions of miles of it is just right there outside your window.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
Mm-hmm.
Plane of air like AIR or like EYRE something?
As in, breathe that sucker in.
Okay. Didn't know if we were talking about like a god or something.
No. So yeah, you guys might watch the feeds for a bit, but it's one of those sections that goes by very slowly as it is huge. Anything you want to do?
Can I scan it again now that we know a little bit more about it?
Yeah.
Computer's check?
Sure.
So 22.
Right, so you can, Andis can go back to what they were doing, but as you're looking over the data and just watching these crazy clouds go by, watching the feeds in your computer screens, watching it out the actual steel glass window, you do notice a black object. It's about the size of a grain of sand against the enormous spacescape, of clouds. And as you begin to examine it, another one appears, and a bright green light flashes on the screen, and Galara comes up and says,
"Battle stations. Inbound missile launch detected. Shields activated."
and we're in combat.
Oh, prunk!
Taking a look at the info Galara just brought up from your last scan, you guys can get in your war positions. Why don't anybody that has culture, that wants to roll culture, give me a check. Anybody that has engineering to identify this vessel on the holo scan she's displaying in the center of the room, go ahead and make me those rolls.
Okay, so culture check, that is a 29. I'm going to go ahead and add my expertise to that too, which is going to be +4, which is going to be a 33.
Ooh, yeah, and Andis, what was that? What do you roll?
It was a 29.
Ooh, Rami too. Rami, what do you roll?
Yeah.
31.
Oh, some pretty good rolls here. Yeah, it's just outside of Andis 147's kind of ability to identify, but both Rami and Knack, from either reputation or the hull design, you recognize this immediately as a Azlanti Star Empire ship, part of the expansionist Federation of Worlds under the command of humans that left Galarion millennia ago.
Oh, prunk.
Guys, this is an Azlanti ship we're coming up against. They don't typically lose these fights, so battle stations.
Yeah, and before you guys can even get there, so they had let loose a torpedo. It's what this other spec that appeared was, and that's what starts off the combat. The shield's just being buffeted, and I don't think I'm going to get through your guys' shields with a single torpedo, but they follow up immediately from this long range with a light plasma cannon that also buffets you, so I'm going to roll some of that damage now. There it is. Oh, boy.
Oh, come on! What?
Holy moly.
That's how a GM likes to start it off. So 3d6 torpedo. I've rolled 666. I love dice. I love dice.
Before we started recording, Andis reminded everybody about the escape pods, and well,
You guys went through like some boring safety training with Andis 147. It's like, when are we ever going to use this?
if you're insert the plug to your space seat belt.
Maybe I am going to knock these shields down. So they're hitting your port side shields. That torpedo does 18 points of damage. The plasma cannon 2d12 does 21 points of damage. That is to start us off. And as soon as that happens, you receive an all bands transmission from the ship, and a voice calls out over audio only and says,
Packed world vessel. This is the fearful symmetry of the Azlanti Star Empire. If you lower your shield and power down your engine, you will not be harmed. You will have the immense pleasure of joining the Empire's vast population across 100 stars. If you refuse to comply, we will reduce your ship to slag and leave you out here to die. This is a one-time offer. Transmission end.
cut the signal.
Can I sense motive on that?
Yeah. It's actually a couple of goblins and like a rust bucket. No, go ahead and roll me that.
Just how serious they are about like not just immediately destroying our ship if we drop our shields. That's kind of what I'm worried about.
Gotcha.
That's a 14 plus expertise is going to be a 15.
I mean,
yeah.
It sounds like they're pretty serious, and you don't understand why they would send that unless they... It sounded like an often repeated thing that they have sent. Let's put it that way.
So Raimi turns to Alindra and says, so are we going to play this the safe way or the fun way?
I'm not sure what you consider fun.
Not complying.
So let's talk about this a little bit. So I feel like I should try to talk to them and explain that we're here not on purpose, right? I mean, we didn't come looking for these guys. We're just going somewhere else.
Knack, I should say, you are pretty certain that they don't care if you if you had a whole school of orphans on board the ship. They're like, well, we got a whole bunch more slaves for Azlanti World number 37.
Yeah, they do not care. We either win this fight or we don't, and that is that's the only thing we got to worry about. We stand down now, we could play the game and see what happens and maybe still get out of this. We are in drift space after all, but I don't know. This seems pretty big gamble, Captain.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I'm with Raimi. Maybe we should do this the fun way.
All right.
That's what I like to hear.
Question. Where did we get hit? Starboard?
Port side.
Port. Okay. And that was 21 plus 18.
Correct.
So can we bolster our shields before we return a response?
Well, let's actually, before we return a response, have Andis figure out how bad off we are from this first shot.
Well, the shields are down and we've taken hull damage.
Those of you prone to rolling culture and or our trusty pirate compatriot, why don't you give me a culture check or pirate profession?
Pirate profession, go! It's a 20.
Nice.
Being a
So,
pirate.
Let's go with that because you somehow rolled better than a nat culture check.
Well, I got
without
that. I got that
without the
tease.
No, I want to give it to Tyler.
26, baby!
Tyler gets one this episode. So, Tyler, you know that the Azlanti always have the best gear on them and are notoriously hard to capture. They run what a lot of pirates call emission protocols, which means that instead of letting equipment, personnel, or ships fall into enemy hands, they execute self-destruct if they think they are about to lose. But capturing their tech fetches higher prices for resale value if you can convince a buyer that is indeed Azlanti technology. And Edros, you know of one pirate who has captured an Azlanti operative alive, and that was your good friend Alira Aquana, one of the feats that made her a free captain.
I see.
Yeah.
Do I know how she managed to pull that off?
Yeah, well, thankfully with your pirate profession check, she did indeed drunkenly one night many years ago give you this great method, and she called it the Rusty Rivet Gambit. And it involved losing a space fight, sabotaging your own engine, and fighting the opposing crew in a head-to-head battle. And
so like letting them board and then fighting them in the ship?
Yeah, and she said it was probably the riskiest thing that she had done behind the wheel of the captain's chair. But the way she explained it to you, that, you know, it was a great score because not only do they have very high level gear, some really advanced technology not allowed outside the Star Empire, but they are known, the soldiers, even base soldiers, to carry these very coveted Aeon stones, from which the advanced military of the Azlanti draw their name, the Aeon Guard.
Oh, dang.
So it is up to you all if you guys want to take them on in a space combat. We're trying a little pirate action with what amounts to a reverse boarding action.
All right, so before we make this decision, can we scan the ship for life forms and determine how many people are on board?
I don't know if that's something you can do. Can you do that? A science officer action of, scan, the basic scan. If you roll well enough, you can tell just by the make of the ship, like what the complement of the crew is, like how many are on board.
That you can do. You can tell what the living crew complement is and ship's classification.
If you guys want to do that, then anyone that wants to take over and roll a computer's check, you can go ahead and do that.
Andis, jump in here.
Yeah, let me take a look. Let me take a look at these guys.
Oh no!
That'll be a 27.
So Anda sits down at the SO chair and just freezes. Like they start typing in some commands, and then they just kind of go blank again, like when they had gone into this memory of the Dr. Braskin. And we're in very tight turn order, so if someone else wants to make a computer's check this round, I will allow it.
Miles, what's your computer's score?
Plus 16.
You do this, man.
Miles, what did you roll?
30.
Right, so you get a good amount of information on the enemy starship, and I mean, it's pretty big, but from just like the scant records in Galara's information banks, this is actually like a scout vessel almost, and the normal complement is 2.
Yeah, if it changes anything, it's actually a 36 on a sensor scan.
No, but I mean, I can give you all the information about their weapons and stuff as well. Pretty beefy. They have, these turreted torpedoes and light plasma cannons on almost every arc. It's well equipped, the ship. So
guys, I know it's crazy, but I think we should go with what Aquana did. I think we should shut the engines down, make it look like some kind of systems failure from when they last hit us on the port side, and ambush them on the ship.
There's the fun way, and then there's the really fun way, and that sounds really fun. I'm in.
I agree.
I can't believe I agree with you guys, but I agree.
Let's do it.
Andis smiles and then just shuts off the engines. So like it goes, and everything
Let's
goes
do
black.
something real dumb.
So
All right, so
it'll be a little more difficult than that. Step 1 here is you do have to ineffectually try and evade the enemy ship. Let it hit you maybe once or twice more. Okay. And if you are trying to angle your shields to not take more hull damage, we can do a couple of opposed piloting checks just very quickly.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
if you don't care about hull damage and just want to take some punches, it will be a lot more believable.
Can I rebalance the shields in the helmed phase?
Yeah, if we're not doing full space combat, we won't worry about that until we get there.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with us. I think we should take the whole damage, but I want to at least make it seem like we're trying.
So give me a couple of piloting checks, Raimi.
Right. Just 2?
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, so you are able to outpilot them a good deal and just angle your aft shield, your starboard side shield, and yeah, they continue to buffet you. Step 2 of the Rusty Rivet Gambit is shutting off that power core, but also simulating a failure right after the enemy hits and does hull damage. And to do that, it will be a DC 25 engineering check.
All right.
And you guys
I'll
can
give it a shot.
You guys can gang up together if you want, or
Yeah, and does your new ability apply to skill checks? Your miracle worker?
Not to destroy my ship.
believe it or not, the game developers didn't think that would be a likely scenario. Dang it!
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I could use an aid just in case.
Glumfuzzle aided you.
All right, sweet.
I rolled 15 on the dice, so
All right, dope. Here we go. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, well, that was a big deal.
Yeah, that's going to be
Right, so-
33 with the aid.
you get one more plasma cannon that just hits the aft fin of the ship, burns through it, and then punches the center bulkhead, and you're able to power down.
I make it flicker a little bit. Yeah.
And step 3 is to signal a total surrender to the other ship and make them believe you.
I'm on it with the bluff check.
You okay with that, Captain?
Yeah, do it.
Aid him. Please aid him. Please aid him.
Aid me.
Captain, Alindra aiding. Does anybody else want to try and aid with a bluff?
I've got some bluff now.
Oh, do you?
Do it. Do it.
Did you roll?
I just say, he left us on a rock.
Oh, I forgot. I've got expertise die on bluff. Hang on.
Oh, maybe he doesn't need any help at all. Oh, yeah, he does. He's okay. Bluff is what you took as your new expertise?
No, diplomacy is what I took as my expertise. I've had expertise on bluff for a while.
I thought you
I can
had
try to help.
No, we're good with just the 21 from That's hilarious. Alindra comes up, I don't know if you're pretending to limp or something, and Andis is like, "Oh boy, our ship's broken."
I imagine Andis in this the Packlids from that episode of Next Generation.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh man.
Right. So what do you say, Nick? You can send out a picture. You can send out just audio.
Please, we're leaking plasma. We've got containment fields down. We surrender. We'll give you anything you want.
All right. So with that, the enemy vessel, this fearful symmetry, comes up alongside the drift rider, and you can't see inside, but they kind of come up on their starboard side and your port side. So they've just passed the front of your ship. And yeah, what would you guys like to do?
So we know
we ought to get in marching order toward that door, right?
Yeah, so we know the ship better than anybody else. Can we hide in corridors and ducts and hidden passages and things like that?
Yeah.
It's been a while since a fight on the drift rider, so
Andis is hiding in the bathroom.
okay, you guys can just call out where you'd like to go.
As the captain, I think that I ought to be there to greet them as they board the ship.
Yeah, maybe you could board them and take them up to the bridge, and I could hide down in the gunnery hole and then pop out and take them from behind.
Sure.
I also feel like a hallway fight with Alindra's blazing orbit might be beneficial.
Sure.
Maybe.
And might not damage the systems and the bridge that we actually need to fly the ship.
Rami's going to pop up at the other end of the hallway so that Alindra is in sight on the bridge, but that way he might have a clear shot if he needs to shoot his weapon or magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Knack and Alindra, you guys were the ones talking to him, so you should probably both be there to greet them, I think.
Alrighty, so you guys have set yourselves up around the drift rider, in a few places. We got Anda's in the restroom. Raimi, you're hiding out in the captain's quarters. Looks like in Alindra's room.
Mm-hmm.
Very matter of fact. So Alindra, where are you coming? Where are you going to be?
I am standing next to the door of the airlock to greet this guy as he boards the ship.
Alrighty. So Galara might come up with some information.
Exterior airlock hacked. External door opened.
And from inside the airlock, you can hear metal boots clinking your way on the steel floor, walking forward, and there's just a very slight, sharp knock, single knock on the interior airlock door.
Can I say to our compatriots, if we're only hearing one set of footsteps, I'm thinking, we think there are 2 people on that ship. We should wait until the other one comes aboard.
What would you like to do, Alindra?
She takes a deep breath and composes herself and opens the door.
So you are met with a humanoid, by all accounts a human, but in complete armor. This bright green, highly advanced, tech-laden suit of armor with a single red eye as like a where one's visor might be, inlaid with a couple of Aeon stones in this helmet, carrying a pretty advanced looking rifle. And you hear projected from this thing's helmet, it says,
On the ground, weapons out, full submission.
Points its gun at you.
Okay, Alindra lays her guns down.
Nak, the same to you.
Nak actually speaks Azlanti, responds with a, I'm unarmed. Please, don't hurt me, and don't notice my cheeks.
Funny that you mentioned that.
Does when you pat down in the Soki, do you start at the face?
Yeah, pretty much. You cup the cheeks and you just kind of
You just gonna squish them around a little bit.
Yeah.
It comes up to you, Nak, and are you dropping weapons?
I'm not holding any weapons, so I'm not dropping anything.
Right. So it puts the rifle at its side and pulls out a laser pistol, pretty advanced looking one, and shoots you in the leg.
Didn't even get to bluff check.
Only 12 points of damage, but yeah, it burns a hole clear through your thigh, and it just repeats the same thing.
Weapons out, on the ground, full submission.
Nak pulls out his semi-auto pistol and puts it on the ground.
Who's captain?
I am.
He pulls out a set of manacles for each of you and throws them on the ground. It says, put them on. Who else is aboard?
No one, it's just us. Do you want to see the bridge?
First, we got to make that bluff check, Rebecca.
It's a 25.
Nice bluff check.
Ooh, don't you lie to me. Okay, so they have like nothing in sense motive, so they're like,
Yes.
Show me to the bridge.
Do you have anybody else on your ship? Do you want to invite them aboard?
Why, yes, we do. Do you have cheese and crackers?
Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever heard.
Please, come this way.
As you're walking forward, it makes another shot and misses you. It just scores a hole in the floor of the drift rider and says,
I ask the questions. Turn over master control to me.
that's like some computer commands, giving captains control.
Nak thinks really hard in Alindra's direction to hope that she psychically picks up on this.
I mean, you can send a message via bluff to try and send like a secret message, just like whisper it into comms.
I don't know that we're gonna get the other guy on the ship. Can we just kill this guy now?
I think we ought to. Alindra pulls out her solar weapon and can I attack this guy?
Yeah, let me make a perception check first. Ooh boy, perception. Wow, why do they have such terrible perception?
Yes!
I rolled a 6 on the dice. I think even with like a base stealth move, they're not going to get to act in this initiative roll. So go ahead and make a single attack, and that's going to be our surprise round.
Surprise round!
Surprise!
That's a 31 to attack.
Oh, that's going to hit. That is going to hit.
And I'm going toward photon attunements. That's 22 damage.
I'm going to go ahead, and now that combat's initiated, make my initiative roll. And as you guys know, I do these publicly, so you're going to get to see it.
Oh, boo!
17. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. We are in normal turn order. Top of the turn order. Nearly a natural 20 on that initiative roll before we started playing. Zach Feldspar.
So I noticed that they have gone into the bridge and there's a door there. Is that door open?
Yeah, it's still open.
Okay, cool. This pronk is in our bridge. Get him! And I've dropped the semi-auto pistol, but I'm going to swift action draw out the Corona laser pistol and take a shot with a get him on top of it. So that is going to be a 28 to hit.
That's a hit.
For 6 damage.
Ooh! Right, yeah, burning them in the back. Getting them back for that laser blast they gave you. Next in our turn order, you hear the sound of multiple laser blasts. Linder shouting. It's Andis 147.
All right, let's see. I'm going to use my new feat, Shot on the Run. I'm going to run out into the hallway and take a shot at this guy and then keep moving.
Okay.
So this is going to be without tracking.
Oh, this is so cool. That's such a cool feat.
All right, here we go. That's a 24 to hit.
24 against EAC. That is a hit.
Yes!
All right, that is 18 points of damage.
Ooh. Blasting.
And then
Wow.
and then stepping on through into full cover here.
All right, so you move into the portside airlock, finishing off some of your movement. Next is Edros Ferranis.
Alrighty. Edros is going to pop out of the manhole, and the doors are open to the bridge. He can see the bad Mama Jamma, and he's going to charge right at him.
Oh boy.
Whoop, whoop.
Manhole.
And he is... Okay. And he's going to make a single attack with the brand new plasma dose. Oh, that's a 20?
But you're also flanking with the Lindra, so...
Oh, 22.
Both EAC. That's a hit.
Yes!
Yes!
Barely.
Plasma dose go.
You're getting off with a warning this time, mister.
I've been warned.
So
Now,
17 points of damage.
17 points, electric fire. Yeah. So hopefully all that goes through.
Yeah, so you guys are shooting this guy up, cutting him up. It did seem like this armor was providing a good amount of resistance to Alindra, your slashing energy weapon. But yeah, you bury this plasma Doshko in its shoulder. He reacts about as well as anyone would in that situation. Very unhappy, and it's their turn. So this Aeon Guard figure, surrounded by Alindra and Edros, definitely where I did not want to be, is going to... Yeah, boy, not a lot he can do in this situation. It's going to guarded step forward onto the bridge next to Alindra. And while it's moving, it's going to just drop the pistol he had out, and with the free hand, pull out a really sharp, serrated looking knife and goes in about mid-flank, trying to cut up your ribs, cut right through your armor, Alindra. What is your KAC?
23.
Yes! Ooh. Rolled real poorly. But yeah, it seemed like that was a feint, and the blade was actually coming like for your neck. You're able to jump out of the way, like at the last second. It was trying to just bury it right into your helmet. Definitely got some tricks up this Aeon Guard's sleeve. Alrighty, that takes us to your turn, Alindra Vallis.
All right, I'm gonna just stay here and full attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Probably not gonna work out very well because KAC,
Flashing
but,
strikes.
you know. All right.
Flashing strike.
Yes!
Holy crap! All right.
Bottom.
Oh, where's my air horn?
I hate all of you guys. boy. All right. Tell me what the damage is here. So obviously that is a critical hit.
Yeah, so it'd be 24 damage plus 14 damage plus 4 burn.
Jeez Louise. Okay. Well, I didn't ask for some arithmetic problems. I'm not back in the second grade. 24 plus 14?
Yeah.
Plus what?
4 burn.
Plus 4 burn.
So
For the critical effect.
38 regular damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good amount here. All right, and now I'm into some long addition for the damage it's taken. The damage it's taken right now.
It's like long division, but like you put them together instead.
Oh, it's 2 double-digit numbers I have to add. It's usually not this hard.
I guess it's a good thing I don't crit very often.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And
You
I hate it.
take your solar blade and in this first attack, drop this guy to the ground.
Oh man.
Wow. Oh man! All right, let's go kill his buddy.
Let's get an Azlanti ship too, guys. Come on, we can do this.
Yeah, Neck, you definitely heard this guy's voice, right? You got that vocal modulator, right?
I'm already tuning it.
Oh yes!
Oh my god,
Raimi,
Gotta
it's
get
your
this guy
turn,
over here.
and you hear on the comms, besides the battle screams of Alendra murdering someone, the goblins screaming from the back of the ship. Intruder! Intruder!
Oh, somebody came in through the other port. We gotta hustle down there.
What would you like to do, Miles?
Guess go investigate. So I moved down the hallway towards the goblins.
Yeah, so that'd be in this direction.
Yeah.
To the aft side of the ship. Oh, so you can actually, from here, from one movement away, down to here, and see from there, you can see about 60 feet away, another one of these Aeon guard. Their guns trained on you down the hallway, and as you open up that door, it takes a shot.
Then I don't open the door.
What is your KAC?
My KAC is 22.
So that is a hit. I've rolled a 14 on the dice.
This is gonna hurt.
So it hits you, and it is a jacketed round that pierces your armor, your new armor that you just got. Let me roll that damage. All right, so pretty average damage on this roll. It is 14 points of damage. And yeah, it sounds like a mag gun being kind of warmed up, some really high tech, and it just puts this slug right through your armor. We are still in initiative turn order. Miles, you've moved. You may take a standard action still.
All right. Oh, well, since it's just me and this fellow, I am going to cast Arcing Surge.
Oh boy,
Oh,
what
Lord.
what have I done to myself?
Oof.
And that is 28 damage.
It does get please tell me it gets a reflex save.
Yes. And if it has spell resistance, it has that as well. Reflex save for half damage.
So reflex save allows for half on Arcing Surge. That is a DC 18 I'm trying to hit here, so not gonna lie, this is very possible for me to mess this one up. Let's roll good, Patrick. Yay!
Dang it.
Son of a 19 on the dice, which means he nimbly jumps out of the way of this bolt, and it hits like every side of the corridor, bounces back and forth. He dodges out of the way of all of it.
Wait, all of it? You thought you only took half damage.
Yeah, this guy is a trained operative soldier and does have the evasion quality.
Oh.
So yeah, if they would normally get a partial effect on a save, instead there is no effect. All right, so yeah, they've leapt out of the way, and we are back at the top of the turn order. Turn 2 next, Izrak. You hear a lightning clap at the aft side of the ship, and can see both of these doors in the middle of the Drift Rider are open. You can see another guard, boy, almost 100 feet away.
Can I pick up my semi-auto pistol as a part of me
A
running?
move action.
As part of me running down the hallway?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, it'll take a whole action to pull that up. Move action.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to leave it there then. So I'm going to move just a few paces down the hallway to make sure that I am in range of a particular fun little ability that I do. So I'm just going to move about 20 feet down and get him and shoot him with my Corona laser pistol one more time.
I was about to say, can I guess what this ability is? Quote unquote fun little ability
Except I am actually going to spend an RP so that we all get +2 damage in addition to +2 to hit to this guy.
So you do have to be within 60 feet, correct?
Yes, which I am with that move, I believe.
I think you need to move just a little bit closer.
Did I not do that math right? Let's see.
It's quite all right. You are there now. Go ahead and make that attack roll.
So that is a 21 to hit.
Against what? EAC?
It's Corona laser, so it'd be ESE.
That is a miss. Yeah. Oh, they were so close. We're right on the cusp there. Oh, this one might have a little better luck, a little longer life. Andis 147. You hear shooting coming from the aft.
All right, Andis is gonna spin around, run back out down the hall, and then pop back in and say, "Excuse me, Mr. McScruffins, but while they're still in the hall, they're gonna take a shot. Again, no tracking on this shot.
Got it.
Gotta hope it's very good." Ooh, that's a 18.
6 on the dice is not, quote unquote, very good.
not gonna cut it. So Andis just pops into the room.
Oh, thank you guys for taking pity on me. Andros Varanus.
Andros is going to get to do something cool. He's going to get to do something cool here. He's going to move forward as just a regular move action, so that he is up next to Raimi. And then as his standard action, we're going to charge at this guy.
You have way too much movement. What is happening here?
Idris, I'm pretty sure that charging is a full action, unless you're
not for a blitz soldier.
Oh, well.
I get the same benefits as Stellar Rush, meaning that I can charge as a standard action.
Well, how do you do?
And before we left Eox, Idros had a few upgrades put into his legs. He has 45 feet of base.
Oh, boy. That's way too much. I'm gonna cut one of them legs off. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
All right, Plasma Doshko coming at you. And wop, wop, wop.
Yeah. You pick your 3, the number you rolled here on this D20, you take it off my digital table. Because that's a miss. Alindra Valis.
So Alindra would try to do the same and show Jaws how it's done, but Nak is in her way. So
and Raimi's more in your way.
Nak and Raimi, there's a lot of people in the whole way.
Yeah, Nak and Raimi are both in my way. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to the airlock and pick up my guns that I dropped.
And Raimi Quindar, we're back to you. How fast was that?
Well, since I still have perfect line of sight, I'm going to try Arcing Surge once more.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Boy. That's a little close to Edros for my like.
Yes! All right, a little more damage. Let's see what happens on this reflex save. Is it going to be able to jump out of the way twice?
Fail.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, dang it.
12 on the dice. You are not going to zap me, good sir. I said good day, sir. All right, this thing. Oh boy, he's got someone really close here.
Raimi, do you still have a move action that you can do after taking a shot?
Yeah.
I might move out of the way of Alindra.
Oh, don't you worry about that, because this guy is indeed going to 5-foot step, maybe a quick guarded step backwards here. The Aeon guarded step backwards into a side corridor out of the firing solution of the entire party. He's going to make a quick attack, pulls out another laser pistol, and is going to shoot at Adros. What is your EAC, Tyler?
My EAC has increased thanks to a new armor purchase. So your new goal here is 23.
Okay, I have rolled a hit.
Darn it.
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to shoot you in the leg. But yeah, it scores a direct hit right on the center of your chest plate. A very painful shot with this pistol. Let me roll that for you. Good damage roll there. So that is 14, and then Yeah, it just seems to sneak right under, it, like right between the cracks in the armor. Just right there between like where the shoulder meets the chest. And so that is 14 points of damage, and then you're going to take an additional 16 points of damage. It's 30 in total, just from a little laser blast, well placed. That is flame damage.
Cool. And Adras says a little thank you to Tahomen for giving him that thermal capacitor as it soaks up some of that heavy damage.
Alrighty, and back to the top of the turn order, next Izrak.
Nak is going to move down here. Adras, we destroyed one of these guys. Let's get the other one. Inspiring boost. Here's a 19 stamina back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Alrighty, and it's 147.
Okay, so no get them right now, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we're just popping out here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to run down to just in front of Nak and then sort of take a knee and target Azlanti soldier.
All right, so you can just barely see it to hit that target. It's in total concealment, but your computer does get a lock. All right, and we're back to Adras Varanus.
Adras is going to just take a guarded step so that he is kind of within the same line of the Aeon Guard, and then he is going to take total defense in his turn.
Alindra Valis.
Alindra's just gonna run toward this person.
Okay. Yeah, so you pop up right there in the door frame, and still holding onto the rifle, still holding onto a pistol that it has drawn. And quick as whip, we're back to Raimi Quindar.
Let's see.
So if you do move forward, you will be able to see it, but you do have to get like kind of where Nak and Andis is, be able to even peekaboo at this guy.
Okay. So I can move here and I can see him?
Yep, right behind Alindra, right in front of her, I should say.
Right. I'll cast Magic Missile.
It's an old code, sir, but it checks out. An oldie but a goldie.
So 11 points of damage.
No reflex save on that. So
Yes!
It's actually going to be a little bit less than that because moving with the magic missile it only does 2d4, unfortunately. But 9 points of damage. A couple of them knock into the armor. Maybe a little bit gets soaked up. Alindra, you can make an attack of opportunity because it's actually going to move out of here backwards back into the engine room, and as these doors open you hear some goblin screams coming from the back, and some very disorganized junk laser fire
Okay, so that was a 25 to hit.
against its KAC. That is a hit.
Yes.
Awesome. That's going to be 29 damage.
Okay, wow, what am I doing with my life? So the armor soaks up a little bit of that, but it doesn't matter. That's a lot. And it's actually, I think it might have tried to shoot at draw still, but I think it's going to go for Alindra after that hit. Just going to fire this pistol at you. Oh, 5 on the dice. I imagine your EAC is pretty good right now.
21.
Oh, maybe I will hit. So it's going to try the same trick attack against you. So if I can roll high enough here, you are indeed flat-footed, as it might shoot at a non-vital organ, like it might try and shoot your hand that's holding the energy weapon. So I roll a 5 on the dice, and with its bonus with this pistol, that is just going to be a hit, just barely. This one with a laser pistol does score a pretty damaging hit right where you're holding on to the vibrating energy of your sword. It is 32 points of flame damage. Yeah, this trick attack. And that is its turn, bringing us back to next Izrak.
All right, Nak is going to move down here to just in front of Alindra. And once again, get him with that RP. I'm doing it again. I know it's a bad move, but we're just going to try it. And Corona laser pistol this mofo, this Mo-Pro, excuse me.
Alrighty.
Oh, that's a 20 to hit.
Against DAC, that's a miss. Yeah, so close, so far. And it's 147.
All right, Andis, though they are shooting through full cover provided by Raimi, is going to spend their move action to adjust a couple of wires on their laser rifle and use Miracle Worker to add +2 to attack and +2 to damage. So with Get 'em, I'm hopefully overcoming the cover. So
Right. Is Miracle Worker free action?
it is a move action.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So single attack.
Yeah. So single attack here. All right, here we go. That's going to be a 24 to hit.
Ooh, that's a hit.
Yes.
All right, that's going to be 15 points of damage.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Edros.
All right.
So this guy's moved on down the hallway.
Does Alindra go before him or after him? Who's going after me?
Alindra Valis is immediately after you.
All right. I'm going to hold my turn until Alindra goes in there and blows up.
Okay. you heard him, Alindra. It's pressure's on
She can
now.
do whatever she can do whatever she wants, but I'm going to wait until after her decision because I see her glowing, angry and glowing.
I am angry and glowing at this point. All right, I'm going to move right next to this person.
Don't kill the
Okay.
gobs.
Oh, right next to the power core. Oh boy.
Oh gosh, this is making me nervous, y'all. I can move a little farther away from it.
Okay.
I'm
But still
gonna
within
use-
range.
Yeah, and use Supernova.
Alrighty.
30 damage.
But same thing, reflex save. Go ahead and what's that DC on the reflex save? Are we up to 19 now or
I haven't looked actually.
let me make it easy. I'm gonna roll and see if we need to figure out exactly what it is. Nope, 19 on the dice. Jump right out of the way of this explosion. Blast the power core, but it misses this guy completely. Edros, Varanus, your turn.
This dude has dodged almost 90 points of damage.
Over
that.
You guys should play an operative at some point.
Gosh. All right, Edros is going to move into a position where he has a straight line and do the same thing he has done before. Use it to charge in next to the power. This power core has taken a ton of damage.
So you have to charge into the nearest square. So
Oh, thank you. Very correct. And he's going to make his single attack with the plasma dash. Boop. Ooh, I think that's going to do it. 25.
27.
that is a hit.
Yes.
22 points of damage.
All right, yeah. So you lay into this thing, same as its friend. It's not doing great. Raimi, we're back to you.
Well, everyone is in my way, so I can't do a spell.
Sorry.
Scoot up a little bit. Then I'm just gonna do a regular attack with my X-Gen gun.
Okay, pulling out that heavy weapon.
Ugh.
Ooh, 9 on the dice. That is against KAC. It's a piercing attack. It's gonna be a miss. 19 to get him. All right, Edros, you can make an attack of opportunity because this thing is going right out the airlock.
Oh, crap.
Stop it.
Come on. Oh, that's not good. I don't think it's going to do it. It's going to be a 21.
Nope.
Oh, no.
It pushes its way through both the doors. You hear them open and close. You hear a metal clanking sound on the outside of the hull of the ship. Oh boy!
I've got this, guys. Don't worry. I'm.
Hooray!
I've rolled a 1 on this thing's acrobatics check in 0G. It does have a plus 20, so there's no problem there. It's with its the mag boots and its armor. It's just taking a stroll out there on top of your ship. Do you want to give chase?
Yes.
Who's going outside? Because
Me, Alindra, and I have gravity boost.
can we fast forward? I imagine everyone is wanting to move that direction, but Alindra and Edros, you're the closest that can take some action next turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let's do Alindra first. So you're able to get outside. Do you want to go towards gravity attunement? And
Yeah, I'm gonna go toward graviton attunement, but also use gravity boost.
go ahead and make me an acrobatics check to walk on the metal hull of the ship. Get a little bit of a bonus from
Acrobatics or athletics?
Maybe it is athletics now that I think about it.
I hope so.
It's been so long
Athletics is
since
much
we had
better.
some 0G space.
Yeah. DC 20.
So basically, you can try and walk on the hull of the ship with acrobatics, or you can try and pull yourself along with some handholds and kind of kicking off with your boots with the athletics.
Okay, great. So with gravity boost, I get 1/3 of my Solarian level, which would be 2, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's doubled because I'm attuned to graviton. So
Awesome.
that would be a 4. So I rolled a 23, so that would be a 27 to athletics.
Yep. So that is enough. You are able to get out there and see this thing about 40 feet away from where he popped out of the aft starboard hull. And you still, at this point, have a standard action.
Okay, great. And can I get up next to him? Or no, he's 40 feet away. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to use my laser pistol Corona. See how that goes.
Take a shot.
It's a 26.
That is a hit.
Awesome. Minimum damage, but it's all right. So 7 damage.
So its armor does not soak this up. And next is Adros Veronis. If you want to try the same maneuver to get out on the exterior of the ship, out in space, you can.
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to. You see, because you watch as Edros just sprints out onto the hull of the ship, his suit activating to protect him from zero-G. And as he turns and sees this guy, he just sprints right at him because Adros brought mag boots and he's just running along the hull like nobody's business.
What exactly are mag boots, good sir?
This is in the Pact Worlds book. These are brand new. Mag boots allow you to move your land speed in zero-G. No checks, nothing.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So,
So you're clamping down on the hull of the ship, and yeah, he's about 40 feet away. What you doing?
I do not. I doubt I am allowed to make a charge across the hull of a ship. Does not seem like it would be possible. What do you think, Jim?
I mean, it's the pretty smooth kind of hull right above the engines in the aft. It's not necessarily difficult terrain, so
Then I'm charging him.
make that attack roll.
Oh yeah! I'm so glad I bought those boots. Come on, attack! Oh my gosh, bad attack! Why am I rolling so terribly?
Oh no, that's a
6
miss.
on the die. Ah!
The good news is you get an attack of opportunity because he is definitely running away from you, like
All right.
full tilt at this point. So go ahead and make that attack roll.
Please, I just want to be as cool as Alindra one time. 31! That's a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a hit at least.
Sweet. I don't think this will take him down with only 17 points of damage because I rolled a 3 for my damage dice.
Yeah, it does not. It kicks off of your ship and into an open airlock. It moves its maximum distance, jumping from the port side aft wing of the Drift Rider. And I can tell you, it is not long after that Galara comes up with a announcement.
Enemy ship core breach detected. Explosion imminent.
Let himself out.
Fly away!
Yeah, get inside, Adros.
I mean, yeah, just start going. You're not going to knock me off, so just start going as I get inside.
Yeah, that's frightening. Miles, why don't you go ahead and give me a piloting check?
All right. Actually, I don't think that's the right. Yeah, it is.
I'm going to go ahead and make an engineering check to boost our speed as well. All
So,
right,
yeah.
that'll do.
Not using the ship's main engine, because that is still powered down, but just your maneuvering thrusters with a piloting check of 27 and some boost from Andis 147, you are able to break the very flimsy umbilical between the ships and put some distance between you and it. You can watch as a colorful fireworks display of explosions go off amid these huge pink clouds, and the 5 or 6 explosions spell out a couple of words in the night sky, and I think you probably understand what they say. The explosions spell out, "To be continued." Womp, womp,
I'm
womp.
so sorry, guys. I failed you. Patrick, how many hit points did he have left? Did I have a chance?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know, Tyler?
I would love to know.
Actually, if you had hit on that charge, it's very possible you could have killed him. We'll never know. They are space dust at this point, but you have the corpse of the other soldier, armor, weapons, and all at your disposal. And we're going to find out exactly what they are next week.
Yes.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
I love this start of book 4. I would have been happy with a space combat or this boarding action. I love fighting on ships. It's so much fun. But yeah, we'll dive back into the Ruined Clouds next week when we are back. Until then, thank you guys for playing with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And why don't we say bon voyage, everybody?
Bon
voyage, everybody.
Buongiorno.